Enter the arena, the Don Juan Banks. We have a pleasure to have on the line once again one of the most powerful men in social media, JKD practitioner, the great Kenny Lopez, who weighed in on this situation that has transpired before it transpired. He predicted it in his uncut state of boxing video that garnered over 44,000 views. The last time we had him on, he talked about Jeet Kune Do techniques, and now he is on today to talk about the revelations of Floyd Money Mayweather being caught using an illegal IV intravenously. Without any further ado, the great Kenny Lopez. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Don Juan? Doing real good. Good and happy to be back on the show again. Like you just said, the last video I did was the Jeet Kune Do video. I pretty much gave a timeline and the history on Bruce Lee when he came to America, when he left Hong Kong, came to America, and how he pretty much put Jeet Kune Do together as not just as an art form and system, but even concepts that he adapted to go with JKD. And I'm sure a lot of people that seen it or heard the video learned something about it, learned a lot about the JKD. But I'm definitely happy to be back, and pretty much a lot of the things that I talked about in regards to Floyd Mayweather and the Manny Pacquiao fight before the May 2nd bout and after the May 2nd bout, it pretty much came out, like exactly the way I said it.
Exactly.
Besides the outcome of the fight, which is very,
Yes.
disputed, things surrounding the fight before the fight happened, and then eventually came out to light. I said there was a lot of things I said pertaining to it that a lot of people didn't believe. They didn't think what I was saying was true. They was like just calling me and everybody else conspiracy theorists and all this other stuff. But those are people who just they're living in the dark. They got a veil over their eyes, and they refuse to accept the possibility is really is true right in front of their face. They just want to accept it.
Every time you come on and you speak about this subject, you give light, you give relevance, you give in-depth knowledge, courage, and even foresight on what's going to happen in the future. You have a huge following. So many people listen to and cling to every word that you say. That's why you've gotten over 44,000 views. I have you on right now. Many people are listening right off the bat. Did Floyd Mayweather cheat against Manny Pacquiao?
Of course he did. Of course he did, and he.
Oh my God.
He knew what he was doing because, that's why he picked USADA as a drug testing agency. This is the reason why. Because he knew that the drug testing that they administered wasn't, strict drug testing, and he could get the loopholes he needed, to beat the test and get granted the TUEs, the therapeutic use exemptions that's been going around, everybody been talking about. So yeah, he obviously knew that, and he knew that beforehand. And of course, Manny Pacquiao, their team was smart. It was smart too because the original contract they had, he declined it. Him and his team, because it was a contract where if Pacquiao's team agreed to it, that they didn't have to get notified about a therapeutic use exemption if someone failed the test. So they knew that that was a setup right there.
Yes.
They knew that. And that's why they agreed to it. So, but then Pacquiao, he did what he had to do. He knew if he didn't, he wasn't going to accept. That was unacceptable. And I mean, anybody would have, even a moron would know that.
So let's clarify this, Kenny. when Floyd wanted to fight Pacquiao, he wanted Pacquiao to sign a contract where they could use a therapeutic use exemption and not notify the other fighter.
Yeah, and Thomas Alva actually talks about it on his
Yes.
article in Box and Trust USADA, and so does and Michael Montaro. So he said it too on his videos. I mean, that's exactly what. And here's the thing: if someone says, "Well, that's not true," that's their word. Or how's he making up? Well, he posted a contract, and you can't make something up if there's actual proof of something. This is what I try to tell people. So
Yes.
yes, that was what it was. And listen, Manny Pacquiao had to pretty much give it to everything to him. If he didn't give it to everything with him, we would have never had this fight. You know that, I know that, and everybody else who's been following this fight, knows that. Because people were waiting for this fight to happen for the last 5, and Mayweather never wanted this fight to happen. He wanted it to happen, but only on his terms. So it got to a point where Pacquiao said, "Okay, I'm gonna give you everything, give him everything he wanted." Even the ESPN first day clarifying that with Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. That was like before he fought Marquez.
Yes.
The fourth time that year, I remember. I mean, that's on YouTube. Just go back in time. Look, just do the research and look at the timeline. He said he'd give him everything, no problem. I'd give him everything he wants. And Mayweather was still, of course, prolonging the situation. Then when he got knocked out by Marquez, that prolonged it more. We all thought we never going to see it again. But he came back when he beat Rayos, Bradley, the rematch. That was an impressive performance. And then Mayweather was still prolonging it. And then he beat Algieri. And that's when the fight was back. We were talking about the fight again.
Mm-hmm.
And look at all the stuff Pacquiao had to go through to get it to happen. Mayweather wasn't going to budge. He had to give him everything. And as you know, he finally did get everything, but look what happened.
So
look at all things Pacquiao had to battle. Look at the forces. He had to battle everything. He had to battle the commission.
Yes.
He had to battle the drug testing agency. He had to battle the judges. He had to battle the ref and the copy box, which we also talked about.
Yes.
Look at all the stuff he go against. It was against him.
So Mayweather never wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao, and basically Pacquiao went and he beat Rios, he beat Bradley, he beat Algieri, then he qualified for the match, and that's when he backed Floyd into a corner.
But, okay, here's the thing, Don Juan. He qualified for that match way before that fight when he beat Miguel Cotto.
Yeah.
So this wasn't a situation where he qualified to fight Floyd Mayweather when he was considered the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world at that time, when Mayweather had just came back from fire.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all these people who say, "Oh, he qualified," listen, Floyd had to get back the way he was at when he came back because he had left boxing. So Pacquiao was the number one guy, and he didn't want to fight him. He claimed he was on steroids. These are accusations he made, him and his team. That's why they took him to court to do the settlement. This is why they court to do the settlement. Sorry about that. Sorry, I meant the defamation lawsuit that he had against Floyd, and Floyd eventually settled and then disclosed the amount that he settled with him with, because he didn't want people to know that.
So Floyd settled with Pacquiao after accusing Pacquiao for doing steroids. He's the one who settled.
Because there was proof that when his test came back dirty, and they wanted proof of his medical records.
Oh my God.
And he didn't want to. Pacquiao had no problem showing his medical record because.
Did Pacquiao ever do steroids?
Huh?
Did Pacquiao ever do steroids?
Well, there's no evidence linking towards him doing steroids except for Freddie Rhodes, the comment he made about he didn't trust Alex Arita because of the drinks that he was giving Pacquiao. But that could mean a lot of things. That could mean the drinks he was giving him wasn't helping his performance in the ring. That doesn't mean that he's saying the drinks he was giving him when he had steroids in the drinks. You know what I'm saying? This is what he said, but there's no proof that he was, he ever took any performance-enhancing drug because none of his stuff has ever came up dirty. But Floyd Mayweather has.
Oh my God.
The Cotto fight. I mean, and people this stuff and make it public because, they didn't have enough to go on at that time, even though we knew that the A sample of his came up dirty, but they never tested him again for a B sample, which was USADA. They gave him the waiver.
And this was in the Cotto fight.
Yes, and the Shea Mosley fight. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but
my God.
that's why in the room, remember in the Shea Mosley fight, he was in that room.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was tested like what? I don't know how many hours. I think it was 6 hours.
He made them wait.
Exactly. So, I mean, come on. So you knew something was suspicious right there.
You damn right it was, Kenny. Now, Kenny, I got to ask you this question because this is how we started off. On May 1st, Floyd Mayweather received an illegal IV for rehydration after the weigh-in, which is a violation of the World Anti-Doping Agency. He was granted a therapeutic use exemption 3 weeks, 18 days later. Kenny, the great Kenny Lopez, what are your thoughts on that situation?
Oh, my thoughts is that exactly everybody else's thoughts that has been following this and talked about this, which was Kumantar spoke about it.
Yes.
Thunderdome Boxing got several videos talking about it, issuing, let me give it out on a clear fact. And my good friend, John Galling, a.k.a. Taz, who writes for Examiner.com,
Okay.
he's aware of the cheating too. And, remember, Taz actually posted something going into the fight of Floyd's size. He showed a picture of Floyd's size, the arms, and all that, and how he had Memo Heredia in the camp,
Yes.
helping.
Yes.
We was already aware of this stuff, that this was going on. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why he had Memo Heredia in that camp for however how long he had him in the camp, but he damn sure was helping out. Because Alex Ariza had contacted him. Remember, we looked at the article back then, and then of course Heredia changed the story up. Of course, you know what I'm saying? But that's exactly what happened.
Kenny,
and Floyd knew he needed an extra edge.
Why did he use this?
He needed an extra edge because he was afraid of Pacquiao.
Why did he use this IV in intravenously? Can you explain that to us?
Your voice sounds kind of far away.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I hear you now. What'd you say?
Can you explain to us why Floyd Mayweather used this IV intravenously? Why did he do this? Why did he have to use this IV?
Well, his use was he did it for dehydration purposes. I mean, this is what he's telling everybody, and that was the excuse. That's what USADA is telling everybody because that's what he told USADA, that it was dehydration. But if that was the case, if you did it for dehydration, why was you weighing 150.5 pounds a month before the fight? You only got to make 147.
Oh my God!
And Floyd never, dehydrated like that. He never had a problem making weight. So why would you feel all of a sudden dehydrated? Over concerns of dehydration when you never had that problem before. So it has to be another reason. So this is why I tell people to use their brain, because you might not have all the information in front of your face, but if you use your brain and you use logic, you can figure it out. And this is why I tell people all the time.
So the great Kenny Lopez, Floyd Mayweather has never had an issue rehydrating.
No, I mean, not that I know of or anybody else. Unless someone could point to the fight that he had problems making weight, because I don't remember that fight, that mysterious fight that he had problems making weight. And then on top of that, the mixtures, you're using what 750 milliliters total, because remember the first mixture was 250 milliliters of saline and multivitamin. And then the second was 500 milliliters.
Do you mind talking a little bit louder?
I said, can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you talk a little bit louder?
I said the first mixture was 250 milliliters of saline and multivitamin.
Okay.
And then the second was 500 milliliters of mixture of saline and vitamin C. So that's a 150 milliliters.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? With the vitamin C. So, and we don't even know if that's exactly what he was, because they confiscated or tested that stuff. So it could have been something else. But
And where was he giving this?
If that's what it was, why are you using that much when
You damn right.
you're only supposed to use, and this is under the prohibited substance and methods list, it states that. If you go to their website, in the 2015 water prohibited substance, their methods list states that the intravenous infusions or injections of more than 50 milliliters per 6-hour period are prohibited.
Is a violation.
Except those, that's received in the course of like a hospital, admission.
Where did he get this administer at?
If you're not getting medical justification to do that, why are you doing it? There's
Oh
a
my
reason
God.
why. You obviously have an ulterior motive. You do. But you ain't gonna use that much. And you ain't dehydrated. We know you ain't dehydrated because you was 150.5 pounds a month before the fight. So there gotta be a reason.
What the fuck was he doing?
Huh?
What the fuck was he doing?
Well, I don't know what he's doing, but what I do know is that when you use that much, you know what I'm saying, that much, and you put that much in your body, it could dilute or mask the presence of another substance that's already in the person's system. That's the whole point of why you would have to use that much. Because there'd be no reason why you're going to use that much, especially when you could just drink, shit. You could drink Celtic water, shit. You could drink a yeah, you could drink a damn Powerade. There's electrolytes in that shit. So, I don't see why you would use that much. And then on top of that, you get the therapeutic use exemption from granting a fight.
18 days.
And then you notify the Nevada State Athletic Commission 19 days after the fight. But see, in the contract, there was a loophole that they didn't have to notify the Nevada State Athletic Commission or the Pacquiao's camp until after the therapeutic use exemption was granted. So that means it could have been 2-3 months after. But is that violating rules? Yeah, well, it's violating rules because you sort of have to adhere to WADA's guidelines. So technically, they did violate WADA's guidelines, regardless of the therapeutic use exemption. They still violated because he wasn't supposed to do that IV infusion at his home.
Wait. Did you say he did this at his home?
Yeah, he did it at home.
What the hell?
Yep, he did it at home. He didn't do it in the hospital. Because if he did it in the hospital, he would have a medical reason why he did it. Or some supporting data that led to USADA granting him that exemption. So we know he didn't do it at his home. We know he didn't do it at the hospital. Because we wouldn't be having this conversation if he did. Because then USADA been following WADA's guidelines.
Now,
This is the reason why Thomas Hauser has been forcing USADA to rebut his claims. And they can't. They can't prove him wrong. They've been coming up with a lot of bullshit or rhetoric, things that are untrue. Like, for instance, they said that they do carbon isotope testing. Well, if you do carbon isotope testing, what USADA has said, they said this in the last article they put out, trying to defend themselves again. Why haven't you used it then if you have that? If you have it, then why haven't you used it then? So we know that's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't true, then you'd be using it. But so that's like a move point to even get into because that's a lie. And that's why Thomas Hauser, who was a former lawyer, knows the ropes, knows what he's doing. This is the reason why he came at him this way. This is why he put together all this information in the matter. It took him a while though because you got to get all your information and you want to get all the evidence. You know what I'm saying? You want to cover your trails. Because when the fight starts, they're going to try to come back with something. You want to rebut what they're saying. And he's been doing that so far. He's been killing them by himself. But, at the end of the day, I look at it like this. I tell people that everyone reaps what they sow, and that's a fact. Whether you believe it or not, if you're an atheist, then you're pretty much hopeless then, because you're going to create a lot of problems for yourself in this world, the earth we live in, because you don't believe in the Creator. But you will reap what you sow on this planet.
exactly.
So if He's supposed to be doing is going to come to the light. And so far, it has came to the light when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. The truth finally came out. The truth is out.
Now, Kenny.
And more stuff is going to come out. More stuff. This ain't the end of this. More stuff is going to come out. I predicted it that this was going to happen.
Now, Flomos are going to say, the great Kenny Lopez, the substances were not banned. Mayweather and USADA released a statement, and it said that they followed the guidelines. What is your response to that?
Well, if that's the case, then why does it say? If that's the case, then how come it says on the widest prohibited substance and method list? How come it says that they, they actually broke guidelines by granting him, the 750 milliliters of IV infusions, which is prohibited. Because you can do the IV infusions, but it can't be more than 50 milliliters for every 6-hour period. Unless you're at the hospital. So if you did pass those guidelines, why did they say otherwise? Why did you? What was the reason? What was the medical reason? They still haven't gave a medical reason. They've been talking about all this other stuff that got nothing to do with the facts. And see, that's the problem. You let people sidetrack you, which I commend Thomas Hauser because he's not allowing them to sidetrack them. He's just sticking to the facts. And you can't bust these people alive. And you force them to rebut the facts, and they haven't been able to do it. So this is their story they're telling people. We know that's not true. You know that's not true. Because if it was true, then it wouldn't even, guess what? The whole thing would have stopped right now. We wouldn't be still having this conversation. People still wouldn't be talking about this right now.
What is the...
I wouldn't be talking about it right now, that's for sure. He'd have been left it alone.
What is the difference between USADA, United States Anti-Doping Agency, and VADA, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Agency?
What's the difference between USADA and VADA?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. The question you asked me, what's the difference between
USADA. What is the difference between USADA and VADA? Why doesn't Floyd Mayweather use VADA?
I've already explained this in an uncensored video in the past. And anybody who knows what they've seen the video knows what I'm talking about. It's because of the carbon isotope test.
Oh, okay.
And carbon testing. That's the reason why. Because they'll catch him.
Oh!
That's the reason why. And here's the thing. They use the excuse that they don't do, carbon isotope in the past. Now they claim they do, but before they see how they switched their story up.
Yeah.
But they think it was too expensive. But yeah, Margaret Goodman from VADA said that that's not a problem because fighters are paying less for that than they offer USADA. USADA charging more. The testing is not as efficient. But Floyd's paying him $150,000 for that test. That's a lot of money.
Oh my God, 150.
You're paying that much money for something? I mean, for a drug testing agency that's not even part of the government. It's an independent agency. You know what I'm saying? It's an independent agency. That's pretty much what it is. So, it pretty much. I mean, it has to follow the water, but the whole thing is, it's independent. The independent agency that he uses to his advantage. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why he only fights. That's another reason why he only fights in Vegas because Vegas they allow 6.1. They allow they still allow 6.1 limit. 6.1 limit plus. They allow you to shoot up the hand with the Zollicane. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's not. He's gaming the system. That's what he's doing. And you know what I'm saying? But that only comes along because everything comes to an end, like I told people. And if you're doing things in the dark, it'll eventually come to the light. And that's exactly what happened now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the great Kenny Lopez on the line once again. One of the most powerful men in social media. He was on before in the past. He predicted that Floyd Mayweather was possibly using performance enhancement drugs, steroids, and that there should be an independent investigation. And now you have gotten your vindication. Kenny, you were talking a lot about this video that Michael Montero released.
Yeah, the video Michael Montero is a very good video, and he pretty much explains the cover-up of drug testing and boxing, and the stuff that I'm talking about right now, that we talking about right now. He already spoke about this, and you know, our video with the uncensored video and things, put that out there on the air about that stuff.
Thank you.
About Nevada, you know, and USAID. I talked about all that already. And now the truth finally.
Yes, it did.
You know, with Floyd's, you know, breaking of the rules, he came out to the public finally, and now people are going to talk about this stuff. But we were the first ones to really talk about all this stuff. I mean, Thunderdome talked about it too. He talked about it, how Floyd, you know, was on PEDs and all that stuff. He put the information out, so he gets credit for that. But we also talked about it, and when you interviewed me, I told you what I thought, what my take on it was, and I told you that things was blood doping. You know, he was doing it, yeah, after the fight. I told you that because of how he his physical look, and how fast he looked at age 38, and then on top of that, he was definitely 160 pounds because he didn't show his weight the night of the fight. He hid his weight. So if you hide your weight, then you obviously don't want people to know your body weight, what you're walking around at. You don't want people to know what you're walking around at, then they're going to say, well, you are a welterweight, but you put a lot of weight on after the fight, so you can fight, and then he can lock in.
He could get in the ring with Triple J.
Yeah, but he also going to fall Canelo out at 154, but he fought him at a catch weight. You know, even though he accuses Pacquiao fighting everyone in catch weights, but he don't talk about the catch weights he's done with Canelo Alvarez, and then the catch weight fight with Juan Marquez after 2 years, 2-year layoff. And somebody said, well, he had a 2-year layoff. But Juan Marquez either. He didn't have no one to help him make that weight. He had to jump 2 weight classes, and Floyd didn't make the weight that night. He didn't make the weight, and he cheated Marquez on the scales. That was in the catch weight. You know, so Floyd don't want to talk about that stuff. But that's the reason why he hit that weight, because he don't want people to know his real weight the day of the fight. That's what it was. You know, and you ain't going to be no 149 pounds, because he told people on Fight Hype when Ben Thompson was in, Pacquiao still weighed more than him. The night of the fight, he only weighed 149 pounds. But yeah, you didn't show your weight. So how will we know that? And then we know that's not true, because not only did you look bigger, because he was definitely bigger than 149 pounds, but the truth came out that you used saline and vitamin C. You know, a mixture of 750 milligrams. So there's no way you're going to only make 3 pounds after doing that a day after. That's impossible. That's not going to happen. So that's another lie. That's another lie he told. And see, the thing about Floyd is he's easy to read. And he does these things. He thinks people are stupid. They can't figure it out. But that's why he spreads propaganda, because he knows he has a lot of fans who are fooled by him. And they only care about the fact that he wins all the time. And he knows that. So this is why he can put all this propaganda out and they believe it. But if you're a person that got your own mind, you can look past that stuff and say, okay, he's full of shit. You know, then here you got someone like Manny Pacquiao, who people have been accusing of steroids, and including Mayweather. His fans believe that he was on roids. But yet he's been taking Nevada testing. No one talked about that. He did the carbon isotope test. He never tested positive. And some people say, well, he hasn't looked the same since he left the freezer. I had some Flomos that told me that. I'm not going to say no names, but they had a couple Flomos that told me that stuff. And that's nonsense, because from my recollection, he had Alex Ariza as his fitness and conditioning coach when he fought Joshua Clottey. He didn't knock him out. And Clottey's a big, strong welterweight. Took his best shots. Never even hurt him with a shot. You have Alex Ariza for Margarito. He busted him up bad, but he didn't knock him out. You know? What about the first fight? See, people forget that. He had Alex Ariza for that fight. He did knock Bradley out in that fight. You know, and he had him for Marquez, too. You know, he busted Marquez up bad, don't get me wrong. But he didn't knock him out. And also the third fight, he had Alex Ariza. So all these fights that they claim that He's knocking everybody out. No, the only person he knocked out, which he didn't even knock him out, he stopped him in the late rounds. That was Miguel Cotto. That was in 2009, but he haven't knocked him out. That's a myth. The only person he ever knocked out was Ricky Hatton. That was at 140 pounds. And he actually fought Ricky Hatton at his best weight. Something Mayweather didn't do. He had him fight him at welterweight. But Hatton's not a welterweight. He's a junior welterweight. You know what I'm saying? So you can just tell, man. You can tell. You know who's full of shit and who's not. And remember, the person who is scared, the scared man, that's the one who starts pointing the fingers because he's worried. And a guilty conscience will make you point fingers because technically it's really you doing it, which is with him. But he was talking about how, oh well, you know, I've been fighting all this time, and he said this on BET, by the way. Leave it on the 106 in Park. I've been all these different weights. I remember you can go look it up on YouTube. I can even send you the video. He talks about how it's impossible to go up all these weights, and I've been fighting all like it. How could you go, you know, from ordinary to extraordinary? And he told Jamie Foxx the same thing. How could you go from ordinary to extraordinary? So that means you know you sound too confident about this, and you believe in what you're saying. So there's a reason why. Why do you feel so strongly about it? Because Floyd Mayweather has been dipping and dabbing with things. And it most likely happened when he came back after the 2-year layoff in his first fight with Marquez. Because he looked bigger and stronger in that first Marquez fight compared to the Ricky Hatton fight. That was the last fight before the 2-year layoff. He looked better. So that most likely happened going into that fight. You know, and he was seen hanging out with Triple H, who also, you know, uses steroids. So Floyd has been, you know, dipping and dabbing and talking to a lot of knowledgeable people who use PEDs. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you had the replacement therapist. What's the guy's name? You talk about him all the time. Michigan.
Is that the Hell Brothers?
Yeah, Don Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's I mean, come on.
That's it.
He knows too much about it. This is the reason why he's so adamant that Pacquiao was using performance enhancement drugs. No, Pacquiao was actually his walk around was like 100. It was actually near the welterweight limit actually. As in when he was at lightweight, he was having trouble making the lightweight division at that time, but he still was fighting at the weight. So it wasn't on the steroids. It's because he couldn't make the weight at lightweight no more. You know, his body got bigger. That's what that was. He was born a puncher. He's a natural puncher too. He carried his speed with him, and he's a natural puncher. This is why he was able to cause the damage he did with a lot of the fighters he fought. You know, it wasn't because he was that size or he was a big, strong guy that just carried his punch and was knocking dudes out. It wasn't that. It was the speed. He carried his speed with him. And add to the fact that he's a good, naturally born, gifted puncher himself. That's why he was able to hurt a lot of the bigger dudes. It was that and his speed. He couldn't deal with the amount of punches he was throwing at them. That's what that was. Floyd's not a puncher. He's not like that. You know, he's more of a wear you out fighter. He'll wear you out in the late rounds, and if the knockout comes, you know, then he can knock you out. But even then, he still knock people out. I mean, that he hurt dudes. It was due to accumulation or because of fatigue.
What was your thought?
Fatigue, but he's not a puncher like
what
that.
was your thoughts of Andre Berto, him versus Berto?
What about the fight?
What was your thoughts on that?
I mean, my thoughts was it was a waste of time because everyone already knew that was going to happen. He was going to beat Berto. Berto didn't have no experience. Definitely not enough experience to beat someone like him. You know, Berto didn't beat nobody good himself, so why would anybody think he was going to beat someone like Floyd Mayweather? That was an easy hand-pick, cherry-pick fight for him. You know, he knew he was going to win that fight, and and Berto, regardless of what anybody says, I mean, he really didn't care. He looked at it was a big money fight for him. I mean, if I was in his position, I would be happy too. Even if I didn't get a lot of pay-per-view buys, I'd be happy because that's my biggest paycheck.
Does Floyd Mayweather?
Happy about.
Does
I mean, he tried to win. I'm sure he tried to win. I mean, I watched the fight. You know, I ain't ordered it.
Painfully.
But I watched it, and I watched it. A week later.
Does Floyd Mayweather do Olympic-style drug testing?
No, he does not. Olympic-style drug testing is 365 days a year, random. And he told people in fight when he's talking to Ben Thompson how Manny Pacquiao didn't want to do random testing when he issued the drug testing to him, and he said he was willing to do the drug testing, but it was a problem with the cutoff date. You know, the cutoff date, because he kept switching the cutoff dates. So 18 days and then 7 days before that. He just didn't want to take that much blood from his body, which, as you can see, going into that fight, they were blood testing a lot. Specifically, Manny Pacquiao there was a lot of blood taken from him in by USADA, but that's what the issue was, because he was kind of like he had an eerie feeling about that when he fought Eric Morales the first time when he had blood taken from him. He felt it affected his performance, which Floyd knew. He knew about that. That's why he issued the drug testing. He knew about it. You know. He also knew USADA was scam artists too. He knew that too. He knew it.
I wanted to ask you.
He had a reason why he did all that stuff.
Why is testing not done?
This is the reason why he did all that. But the random testing, he claimed that it was random testing, and that's what the public didn't know. But yet, however, what the public also didn't know was that he wasn't doing Olympic-style blood testing. That's what he didn't tell people. See how people could spread propaganda and have you believe something that ain't true? That he makes truth for lies.
Just like Hitler.
He didn't. What he said was true about the random testing. Because it was random testing. Only when the fight was announced during the training camp was random.
Unbelievable.
365 days a year, which is random Olympic-style blood testing, which he doesn't do.
And can you tell people how someone can use performance enhancement drugs before the fights, before they go into the training camp, and get the maximum benefits out of it?
That's the whole point. That's why he don't do random Olympic style, because then he wouldn't be able to get the maximum benefits of using a performance enhancement drug. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he only starts doing the drug testing when the fight gets announced. That's the reason why he does that.
Wow.
He wants to ensure that he gets that maximum benefits from it, which he knows he will. And his levels will eventually drop down. His levels will drop down.
Oh, my God.
So, come on, man. Anybody who uses performance enhancement drugs, they know the game. They know what's going on. Because he's not that smart himself, but he has people that tells him this stuff. And remember, when you're as rich as him, you're going to afford the best people. When you're as rich as him, that's the reason why you start $150,000 a year. I mean, now time he uses them, he pays that much, and and he's going to be. Let me tell you something. That more is going to start coming out now that it went public, and now that he's retired. USADA ain't going to be getting money from him no more either, because he's not fighting no more. So you'll see more people talking, more information will come out, the same way he did with Lance Armstrong. Remember, he got busted when he retired too.
Will Mayweather ever step back in the ring?
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Not after this Ivy thing. Before I would have said yeah, but not after this came out. And I knew eventually this stuff would eventually come out, but I didn't think it was going to come out as soon as it did. That was only, 3 months after I uncensored it.
Yeah, and you're back.
Exactly.
Kenny, I have to ask you this, and you did comment on this earlier, but you have to go a little bit in depth. So, there's a lot of Floyd Mayweather fans that's saying Thomas Hauser has no credibility on what he's saying. What is your response to that?
All they gotta do is prove
And prove you wrong.
Yeah, prove him wrong, and if you prove him wrong, and you prove the facts wrong, which then it won't be facts no more. It'll be unsubstantiated claims he's making, and then they'll have the facts, and then we'll all be shut up. But until they prove it, until they rebut his facts, then it stands as truth. And remember, when you go into court, an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth.
Wow.
That's all fact, which a lot of people don't know. See, when you go into court, you can't even do and lawyers. I hope lawyers hear this, because the truth of the matter is, and I'm sure Thomas Hauser knows this too, that a motion could be dismissed in court. It could be dismissed, but an affidavit can't. That's why a lot of judges give people problems when they do affidavits, because lawyers don't use affidavits. Because in the case, making money when you're not in a courtroom. I know this because I've talked to people who have actually been in the courtroom doing this stuff. That's how I know this. I talk to the right people.
The great
So
Kenny.
unless they rebut those facts, it don't matter what they think or what they say. It's all an opinion on their part. They give it opinions because of their like for Floyd Mayweather. Because he got their personal feelings involved with Floyd Mayweather. That's all that is. They like Floyd Mayweather. And there's nothing wrong with liking Floyd Mayweather. There's nothing wrong with appreciating him as a fighter. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's something wrong when it's facts right in front of your face and you still don't want to accept it. That's called denial. That's what that's called.
The Kenny. Oh man, this has to be the best interview you've ever done. Any last words or any shout outs, anything on this situation or anything you got coming up? Your time. This is your time.
I mean, I really don't have much to say about the situation no more because everything that I touched on is already pretty much came out and everyone's aware of this. Even the Mayweather fans are aware of this. So, but I mean, I'm glad that I was able to do this interview since I haven't. Last one I did was the Chico, but the last interview about Mayweather was several months ago. That was after the fight, and I haven't spoken about Mayweather for months. There's people, there's people online who claim that I have an obsession with Floyd Mayweather. All I do is talk about Floyd Mayweather. I said, well, if that's the case, I haven't talked about him in 3-4 months. In fact,
they're waiting for you. They get in lines. They are always requesting you talk about him. So if they saying you have an obsession, they have an obsession with you.
That's what it sounds like to me because, I mean, I think it's not just, like you said, it's obsession with me. It's obsession of the fact that I've exposed him. That's what I think it is. They don't like the fact that I exposed him. And then a lot of that stuff that came out to be true. And they don't want to accept that and give me the credit. But I don't even want to give me credit anyway. I'm not like people. I don't need people to give me credit. If I know what I'm talking about, I don't need no one to give me no credit. The only person that I look up to is God. That's it. I don't care. I don't need no other human being to give me credit.
Yeah.
Because human beings have feelings and emotions, and they could change up on you in a heartbeat. They might like you one day, and then they change up on you the next day. That's the way the public thinks. You see it all the time in sports. They like a team. They like a fighter. When they win it all the time, they love them. But then if they lose one fight, they don't like them no more. So that's the way people are. But the people who always stuck with you, who always do your hard times or good times, those are the people you want to be around because those are the people going to get your back no matter what. That's how I look at it. So I don't need anyone to give me credit. The people who still listen, who not just listen to me, the people who are my real friends who still talk to me, those are the people that are madder than me. I could care less about anybody else.
Any shout outs?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my friend, of course, John Gatling, aka Taz. Keep doing your thing, at the Examiner.com. He's the best writer at Examiner.com, by the way. So if you want to get the truth and get the real scoop on things, when you want to, read a good story, read his stuff because he's giving you the truth. And he can just give you his. He might throw opinionated stuff in there, but he clarifies that though, even before he puts the article out. So I want to give a shout out to Taz. I want to give a shout out to Thunderdome Boxing. Thunderdome Boxing done a tremendous job, for putting a lot of this information out too. And he's still doing it, and people get aggravated by him because
they do.
He stopped. He's been going hard on these people, all of them about this. I also want to give a shout out to 10 players who I've spoken to on YouTube, and he said he actually listens to our videos of 10 players. He listens to me, to us. He listened to the videos, the censor video stuff, and he said he was impressed with it. 10 players, and I felt good about that because 10 players, man, he's he's very logical and very intelligent, and he only puts out information that he knows he can prove. And so he's rarely ever wrong or incorrect about the videos he puts out. 10 players. So I've been listening to him for quite some time, and I enjoy listening to his stuff. And I also want to give a shout out to Blood Boxing, who's still doing his thing from time to time. I don't know if he's put anything out recent about this stuff, but he's always been a critic of Floyd Mayweather, mostly because of Floyd's cherry-picking ways and how he had a problem with people saying he's the best ever, and people say he's better than Muhammad Ali and all this other stuff. And you know, he even had a video of how Floyd didn't fight black fighters and stuff like that, and people took offense to that. So, but he knows the history of the sport, though. But blood boxing is very knowledgeable in the history of the sport, and so that's why I like listening to a lot of his videos. And I also want to give a shout out to Zafar Carman, who you know what I'm saying, who's very knowledgeable in fighting as a whole, not just boxing. And he's also been a critic of Floyd Mayweather. But I'll be interested to hear what they have to say about this, though. I don't think, because Zafar Carman actually talked about this stuff, the PDUs and all this stuff, and you know, he has spoke about this, but I don't know what his thoughts is on this. I also want to give a shout out to Boxing Traffic 101. My friend Jarrell Collier is the administrator of that page and doing a pretty good job with that page. And he's not a big diehard fan of any of these fighters. He just keeps it real, and that's all I ask for people. Just bring the truth and keep it real. If you keep it real, I got love for you to keep it real. But if you put your personal emotions and feelings involved, and you know, then you're pretty much actually closing your mind up when you do that stuff.
Well, thank you so much. The great JKD practitioner Kenny Lopez joining us once again. Go to the great Manny Pacquiao page you have. Sport and Battlefield. Is Kenneth Lopez on YouTube, right?
No, Kenny Lopez.
Kenny.
It is Kenneth Lopez, but on my Facebook it's Kenny Lopez. And Kenny, I don't let nobody call me Kenneth. Kenny's what everybody calls me. So.
Yeah. I just thought that, you know, that was the name of the channel. That was all. I didn't know. Yeah, but it is a pleasure to have you on. I hope we can get you back, especially as this keeps unfolding. You know, it's a big fight coming up that everybody wants to talk about, Canelo versus Cotto. We hope we can get some insight on you from that. But it's just a pleasure to have you on once again.
Yeah, we're gonna I want to talk about the Canelo Cotto fight, and that's an interesting fight. I can't wait to discuss that. So there'll be more fights that we're gonna discuss, and the more information, the more stuff that come out about this Mayweather situation, we'll discuss it. And as you know, we you had your situation going on with the people trying to shut your YouTube down because of hatred and jealousy. It's always that. And jealousy is the number one killer of man. Cain was jealous of Abel. If you read the Bible, he killed his own brother out of jealousy. And so that's one of the things that you're always going to deal with when you're dealing with another human being is jealous and envious. And you can see that from a mile away based on their actions and how they go about. Because I experience it all the time with people, and I've cut a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's bad. It's not a good thing when people act like that. Because when you're jealous of someone, you know, there's no need to be when that person could have actually helped you out. But you're jealous of that person now.
Yeah.
You know, that person actually helped you out, and you acting like that. You know? So, I'm happy. So, like I said, we didn't, you know, you couldn't put out certain things because of that situation that unfolded. But even if that wasn't the case, we wasn't going to be putting no Mayweather videos out for a while anyway, because we had no need to. I had no need to. You had no need to, because we said what we had to say. You know, so we wasn't going to do that. So all these people who claimed that I was obsessed with him, man, I wasn't obsessed with him. It was just y'all didn't want to hear what I had to say. That's what that was. That's exactly what it was. We won't be talking about him no more for a while either until more stuff come out. That's what we're going to do. So you don't got to worry about me talking, and I'm telling this to the public, you don't got to worry about me talking about Floyd Mayweather until now other stuff come out, which eventually is going to happen again. Then we'll talk about it. But here's the thing. If you don't want to hear what I got to say about Floyd Mayweather, then don't listen. That's how I tell you. Don't listen to what I got to say.
And they are listening loud and clear, and they are following every move you make. And trust me, the viewership will be very high on this. And we have great news, Kenny, that we will be returning November the 27th back to the main channel, and we will upload and we will re-release. Well, it's still up, but we will unprivate the videos that you've done in the past, and people can see how much viewership you've gained, and your uncountless documentation on this situation has been undoubtedly flawless. It's a flawless victory. So, and you have gotten vindication. You have been glorified. And it's great to see that everything you've predicted and said come true. And I'm very happy about that.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the love, and I just deal with like I tell people, I deal with the reality of things, and I always use logic. I use logic with everything, because that's just the way we deal when you're in the physical world, which is the physical world we live in. Not the you know what I'm saying, not the kingdom laws, which is we talk about the heavenly laws, which is we talking about God and the creator stuff. We ain't talking about that. We talking about the physical laws. You can't refute logic. You just can't. And if something don't make sense and it's not logical, then something's not being told. Somebody's not telling you something. They only give you half truth. And remember, I tell people you can only have one truth. You can't have two truths, because then you be arguing polarity, because everything has an opposing force. So once you know somebody's not telling something, then you know someone's lying about something. And two people can't be telling the truth. Only one person can be telling the truth. So people use your brain. You decide. You make your own judgment on who you feel. How you feel with your brain. Use your analytical brain and ask yourself, does this make sense? And then say, well, I don't think this person. It makes a lot of sense. Maybe this person is telling the truth. That's how you piece things together. When you use your personal feelings, and you put your emotions involved, then you can't figure that out. Females have a heart. Females usually do stuff like that more. They're more emotional than men, so they get a pass. But when you got men doing that stuff, that's a problem. You got men acting emotional like that, that's a problem. Men ain't supposed to be acting emotional like that when females act like that.
The great Kenny Lopez. Thank you.
No problem, man.
All right. Peace.